History of Violence by Edouard Louis. Read by Joseph Kloska. Chapter 1. I am hidden on the other side of the door. I listen, and she says that several hours after what the copy of the report I keep twice folded in my drawer calls the attempted homicide, and which I call the same thing for lack of a better word, since no other term is more appropriate for what happened, which means I always have the anxious, nagging feeling that my story, whether told by me or whomever else, begins with a falsehood. I left my apartment and went downstairs. I crossed the street in the rain so I could wash my sheets on the hot setting at the laundrette down the street, just 50 metres from the door to my building. I was bent double. The laundry bag was so big and heavy my legs trembled under its weight. It wasn't yet light out. The street was empty. I was alone, and as I stumbled along, though I had such a short way to go, I found myself counting in my haste. Just 50 more steps. Keep going. Just 20 more steps and you're there. I hurried faster. In my impatience for the future, which would, somehow or other, dispatch, consign, reduce this scene to the past, I found myself thinking, in a week you'll say, it's been a whole week since it happened. Keep going, and in a year you'll say, it's been a whole year since it happened. The drops of freezing rain weren't beating down, but fell in a thin, clammy drizzle that soaked through the canvas of my shoes. The water oozed its way through my insoles and the fabric of my socks. I was cold, and I thought, he could come back. He's bound to come back. Now I can never go home. He's driven me from my home. The manager of the laundrette was on duty, his blocky chest and head looming up across the rows of machines. He asked how it was going. I said, bad, in the hardest voice I could muster. I waited for him to say something. I wanted him to say something. But he let it go. He shrugged. He turned and disappeared into the little office of his, tucked away behind the dryers. And I hated him for not asking what I meant. I went back with the clean sheets. I climbed the stairs in a sweat. I remade the bed, but still it smelt like Reda. So I lit candles. I burnt incense. It wasn't enough. I took air freshener, deodorant, bottles of cologne that I'd been given for my last birthday, aftershave, and I sprayed the sheets. I soaked the pillowcases, even though I'd just washed them, until the material foamed with thick, clustering suds. I washed the wooden chairs with soap and water, took a damp sponge to the books he'd handled, rubbed the doorknobs with antiseptic wipes, dusted the wooden blinds slat by slat, moved and rearranged the stacks of books on the floor, polished the metal bed frame, scoured the smooth white refrigerator door with lemon-scented detergent. I couldn't stop. I was possessed by an almost manic energy. I thought, better crazy than dead. I scrubbed the shower he'd used, dumped several litres of bleach into the toilet and sink. It was 2 litres at least, a bottle and a half. Scrubbed the entire bathroom. It was absurd. I even cleaned the mirror where he'd observed, or really admired, his reflection the night before. And I threw away the clothes he'd touched. Washing them wasn't good enough. I don't know why it was good enough for the sheets, but not the clothes. I got down on my hands and knees and scrubbed the floor. The steaming water scalded my fingers. The cloth tore the tender skin away in little oblong strips. The bits of skin curled up on themselves. I paused. I took deep breaths. The truth is, I was sniffing like an animal. I had become an animal, sniffing after the scent that seemed never to disappear. No matter what I did, his smell wouldn't go away. So I decided it must be on me, not on the sheets or the furniture. I was the problem. I got in the shower. I washed myself once, twice, 3 times, and so on. I lathered my body with soap, shampoo, conditioner to perfume it as best I could. It was as if his smell were encrusted inside me, between the flesh and the epidermis, and I scraped at every inch of my body with my nails. I sanded away in a fury, trying to reach the inner layers of my skin and get rid of his smell. I swore out loud, "Fuck!" and the longer the smell persisted, the sicker and dizzier I felt. Then I realized, the smell is inside my nose. You're smelling the inside of your
Sample complete. Ready to continue?